Okay, so picture this. You move into a brand new house, everything smells like fresh paint and possibility, and then 3 months later you're getting headaches every single morning like clockwork. Turns out that new home smell isn't just ambiance, it's a cocktail of chemicals quietly leaking out of your walls, floors, and ceilings in a process called off-gassing. Off-gassing happens when building materials release volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, into the air around you. Think of it like your drywall slowly exhaling a chemistry textbook, except instead of knowledge, you're breathing in formaldehyde and benzene. Now here's where it gets legally interesting, because if those chemicals made you sick, someone is responsible, and figuring out who requires following a paper trail that most people don't even know exists. That's exactly what accident injury lawyers do when they take on toxic building cases, and the records they hunt for would make a detective jealous. The first thing attorneys look for are manufacturer safety data sheets, which every chemical product is legally required to have. These documents list exactly what's in a product, what concentrations are considered dangerous, and crucially, what the manufacturer already knew about the risks before your house was ever built. Product batch and lot numbers are another goldmine, because they tie your specific flooring or insulation to a specific production run at a specific factory on a specific date. If that batch tested above safe thresholds at any point in the supply chain, that record can become the centerpiece of an entire legal case. Supply chain records then map the journey from factory to your front door, passing through distributors, warehouses, and contractors along the way. Each handoff is theoretically documented, and each document is another opportunity to find where someone knew something was wrong and shipped it anyway. Here's a fun twist most people don't consider. Importation records are public through customs databases, which means lawyers can actually trace foreign manufactured materials like certain laminate flooring all the way back to overseas factories. Remember the whole imported flooring scandal a while back where beloved brand name products were quietly exceeding formaldehyde limits by factors of 2 or 3 times? Yeah, those customs records were a huge part of how victims built their cases. Third-party laboratory testing results are particularly powerful because they represent moments when someone outside the company measured the actual emissions and wrote the numbers down. If those numbers exceeded EPA guidelines or OSHA thresholds, and the product kept selling anyway, you're looking at potential negligence sitting right there in a spreadsheet. Building permit records and inspection logs also matter more than people realize because they document which specific materials were approved for use and by whom. A contractor who swapped in cheaper, higher emission substitutes without disclosure created a paper trail of that decision whether they meant to or not. Retailer purchase orders and inventory logs can link a specific store's shipment to your contractor's shopping list on the exact date your home was being built. It sounds almost absurdly mundane, but hardware store bought this pallet on this date, contractor signed for it 3 days later, is the kind of boring sentence that wins lawsuits. Indoor air quality test results from your home, even informal ones you ordered yourself, can also be entered into evidence and compared directly against manufacturer claims about emissions levels. If the manufacturer said the product would off-gas to safe levels within 30 days, and your test at day 90 says otherwise, that gap is legally meaningful and financially significant. Worker health records from the factories that made these materials sometimes surface too, and they tell a sobering story. If the people manufacturing the product were getting sick, the company almost certainly knew the chemistry was dangerous long before it reached your home. Connecting factory worker exposure data to consumer harm is an increasingly common strategy in toxic tort litigation. The deeper you get into these cases, the more you realize this isn't about one bad product or one unlucky house. It's about a system where cost-cutting decisions get made at every link in a chain, and the person at the very end of that chain is you breathing it all in. Lawyers who specialize in this area essentially become expert translators between chemistry, supply chain logistics, and human suffering. And honestly, that combination of skills is kind of remarkable. You deserve to understand what's in your walls, what your rights are if those materials made you sick, and what kind of documentation actually matters when things go wrong. If you want to learn more about how our company helps people navigate exactly these situations, check out the links in the description.